And so, welcome to day 9. 13 minutes we meditate for today. I've got something to share. I've been looking forward to sharing this with you. And it's known as the thing I want to share is known as the Maharishi effect. It's named after Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the guy that brought transcendental meditation really to the world, I suppose, but particularly to the West. He brought TM over here. And again, just as a reminder, we're practicing a version of TM. It's not strictly TM, and I'm not a TM teacher, but it's a version of TM that was scientifically studied, the one by Dr. Herbert Benson. So this Maharishi effect, what the Maharishi said was that when the square root of 1, it was the square root of 1% of a population was meditating together at the same time. So this very small number, it would have a significant impact on the other population. And I was thinking, how would I share this? How do I explain it? Because I feel it's a little esoteric. It's a little bit woo-woo. And how do you make it concrete? So what I thought about was, or what came to me was, if you see a flock of birds, and if you've ever seen what they call I think it's a murmuration of starlings. So there'll be thousands of birds in a flock together, and they're just moving in such a coordinated way. When the furthest bird this way on the edge of the flock moves, the whole flock responds. And they've shown that it's not through sight. It's not that this bird recognizes, the one next to it has moved, so this one moves, so this one moves. The speed with which the entire flock moves and the distance across the flock, it moves in so much coordination that it's so coordinated time-wise that there would be a much greater delay if it was purely off of sight, the reaction time of one bird to the next bird. So there's this sense of communication that's within the flock, that's within the murmuration. And we kind of see that in the herd instinct. We know the herd instinct, this idea that something runs through herds of animals, through us. There's kind of the mob mentality. We talk about the mob mentality and how people, I guess this is the darker side of it, how people can get caught into the moment and they don't really know what they're doing, but they find themselves committing acts of vandalism, and afterwards they break out of it. So there's this idea that we're more than just our individual bodies, and we're connected to something larger. So this is what the Maharishi effect is really based on. And certainly one study I know about, they predicted they were going to do it. They were going to come to actually what they called the murder capital of the US. They were going to come there at this specific time in the summer, and they were predicting a 25% drop in all crime across the board. And they spoke to the police commissioner and said, what do you think about this? And he said, midsummer in this city, a 25% drop in crime across the whole of the city. There'd have to be a snowstorm for everybody to stay inside to create that kind of a drop in crime. And actually, they had 10,000 meditators come to the city, and crime dropped by was it 25% or 21%? It was a hugely significant drop in crime. And if you think about the murmuration of starlings and the herd instinct and our connection, or those birds' connection to each other, we also have that as humans. So I guess the reason I'd like to share it is that now that you're meditating daily for 10 minutes plus and really reducing the stress levels and the anxiety levels in your own mind and body, your vibrations, however you want to see it, vibrations or your connection to the herd instinct in the environment in which you're in, you're also helping all of that reduce and lower down. So just through your efforts, not only are you helping yourself, you're also helping your environment. And you're adding to the to the collective herd, of humanity. And as the Maharishi said, it's the square root of 1%. So it doesn't need to be 50-50. Just a very small number of people on the planet, relatively speaking, can have a profound impact. So if that adds any enthusiasm or encouragement to your practice, then it was worth sharing. Okay, so let us come to meditate today, 13 minutes. We'll take a few deeper breaths and let the body and mind begin to settle. And it's okay if they're still running on, the mind's still creating thoughts, that's fine. If the body's still got some energy in it, that's okay. You might feel the need to move your shoulders a little bit before you settle down. You might be ready to be fully settled now. And some deeper breaths, tummy expanding, rib cage expanding. So usually we like the tummy and the rib cage to expand on the inhale. And then we come through our body scan. So bring the awareness down into the toes, into the feet, into the ankles. Hopefully now this body scan is becoming quite familiar to you. And as we say, the brain is what they call plastic in nature. So it can change. Whenever I hear plastic, I tend to think of something actually that's hard. So it doesn't always work for me. But then I think of plastic and plasticine, then it gives me more of an idea of that flexibility, that malleability. We can mold it. So the brain is plastic. And so the more you practice something, the more your neurons, the more the structure of your brain will change to allow you to practice that next time more easily. So scanning the body becomes easier each time you do it. Feel into the calves and the shins then. And feel into the knees. And feel into the thighs. And the buttocks, the pelvic floor, the pubic bone area, the tailbone area, the area between the pubic bone and the tailbone, the perineum, the hips, the hip joints, and the whole of the lower abdomen. So below the belly button, all the way down to and including the pelvic floor. Feel this area in the body in your back and in your front. And then through the upper abdomen, from your belly button up to the base of your rib cage, in the front and the back. And feel through the sides of the abdomen as well, from your hips to the base of your rib cage, through the sides of the body. And then into the diaphragm, base of the rib cage. And then through the whole of the rib cage, the lower and the upper, the collarbones, the armpits, the tops of the shoulders and the shoulder blades, front and the rear, the whole of the rib cage. And then feel into the shoulder joints. And the full length of both arms down into the hands and the fingers. And back up to the tops of the shoulders. And into the back of the neck, the sides of the neck, and through the throat, the front of the neck. And then through the whole of the head, through the lower jaw, the hinge point of the two jaws, the tongue, the teeth, the gums, the lips, the upper jaw, the nose, the nostrils, sides of the head, the cheeks, the cheekbones, the temples, the eye sockets, feeling into everything in the head. Eyeballs, forehead, third eye between your eyebrows. And then through the scalp of the head. And then wave down through the body with the awareness. Wave all the way down. Releasing anything I might have forgotten. Letting go of any new tension you're aware of. Encouraging relaxation through the body completely. And then when you've waved all the way down through the body again, come to your silent internal repetition of your word or phrase. Remember, keep repeating over and over. Keep coming back to it every time the mind wanders. Connect it with the breath, don't connect it with the breath, all is okay. And 13 minutes officially starting now. Okay, 13 minutes. Letting the thoughts come back in, feeling through the body, noticing sensations in the body, noticing the mind, noticing the emotions. Again, to come more in touch with what you're feeling emotionally, you could direct your attention to your tummy. Breathe a little deeper into the tummy. Direct the attention to the heart, the center of the chest. And take as much time as you need to integrate, to resolve, to dissolve anything that's arisen. And then if you want to, optionally, moving on to focus on that thing you'd like to have happen. A different thing each day or the same thing each day. Once you can get to the point where you feel the faith, the certainty that that thing now is an inevitability, you can let it go. In fact, it's the healthiest approach. You just let it go and you let it turn up in your experience. At that point, when you've developed that certainty and you can feel it inside, then it would be a good time to move on to something else that you'd like to have happen. Or you don't have to do that at all. Again, spend as much time as you like with those processes. But when you're ready to come back, you deepen the breathing a little, tummy and rib cage moving as you inhale. Fingers and toes moving, yawning, stretching. Letting the body move as much as you like. Or maybe you're continuing to sit where you are for another half hour, lay where you are for another half hour. That's fine. So well done. Another 10 minutes plus, another day of resetting the lactate levels. And each time we come back, we get deeper and deeper down into those lactate levels, more and more relaxation, more of that Maharishi effect, if you want to call it that herd impact. You're bringing that peace into your environment. So well done.